Have you ever felt trapped in your own laziness, knowing you could be more, achieve more, live more, but every day you just don't? What if I told you that in just 1 year, I went from being the laziest person I knew to leading teams, building habits, and taking control of my life? Today, I'm going to share my raw, unfiltered journey from a complete underachiever to a leader who doesn't wait for motivation to strike. And I promise you'll discover practical lessons that you can apply today, not someday. Let me take you back. A year ago, I was completely stuck. I wasn't just unproductive, I was invisible to myself. Every morning felt like waking up in a fog. No energy, no direction. Endless scrolling on my phone, trying to escape the fact that I was avoiding every responsibility I had. Bills, emails, fitness, learning, even talking to friends. It all felt like a mountain I didn't have the strength to climb. People around me noticed. Friends called me lazy. Family expressed disappointment. And worst of all, I called myself a failure. Every time I thought about my dreams, about the life I wanted, there was a painful voice in my head whispering, "You'll never get there." And deep down, I knew they were right, if I kept doing what I was doing. The breaking point didn't come with some big dramatic event. It was quiet, almost invisible. One evening, I was sitting on my couch scrolling through social media again, and I saw people my age achieving things I wanted, starting businesses, traveling, learning new skills, and for the first time, I felt a surge of fear. Not the adrenaline kind, but the slow, creeping fear that my life was slipping through my fingers. I realized something terrifying. My life was passing me by, and the person I wanted to be didn't exist yet. Not even close. That was the moment I knew I had to change. And here's the key insight that changed everything. I didn't need motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It's unreliable, like lightning in a storm. What I needed was discipline. Discipline doesn't wait for you to feel like it. Discipline shows up even when you're tired, uninspired, and ready to quit. Discipline is the engine that moves you forward when your brain screams, "Stay in bed." So here's the first lesson I learned, and it's brutal, but true. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Motivation might light a spark, but discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the spark fades. It's the fire that pushes you through the darkest mornings, the long hours, and the moments where giving up seems so much easier. Without it, dreams stay dreams. With it, you can transform your entire life. So I started small, really small. I didn't try to overhaul my entire life overnight. That's a trap that keeps most people stuck. Instead, I focused on micro habits, the kind of actions that seem almost insignificant in the moment, but compound into massive results over time. I started by waking up at 6 a.m. every single day, doing just 20 push-ups and reading 10 pages of a book. At first, it felt ridiculous. I'd lie in bed staring at the ceiling thinking, why am I even bothering? 20 push-ups, that's nothing. 10 pages, I can barely remember what I read. I doubted myself constantly. But here's the thing. Discipline doesn't care about how you feel. It cares about the action and the magic. What most people overlook is that small wins stack into massive momentum. Week by week, I started to feel the difference. It wasn't dramatic at first, no fireworks, no life-changing moment, but my energy began to rise, my mind became sharper. That constant fog I'd been living in started to lift. I noticed I was looking forward to mornings instead of dreading them. Confidence quietly crept in. Friends noticed too. They'd say things like, "You seem different, more focused, more alive." And those small nods of recognition fueled me even further. Here's what most people don't understand about discipline. It isn't glamorous. It's not the motivational Instagram posts or the overnight success stories you see online. Real discipline is invisible work done consistently. It's the nights you stay up finishing a task instead of scrolling. The mornings you drag yourself out of bed while the world is still asleep. The choices nobody sees, saying no to distractions, saying yes to growth, that quietly build a leader inside of you. And here's the key. Every micro habit you create becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. Those 20 push-ups, those 10 pages, those extra 30 minutes of focus, they feel tiny now, but in 6 months, a year, they become unstoppable momentum. You start to realize you are not a lazy person. You are a person who consistently chooses action over comfort, and that is what separates ordinary people from leaders. The real lesson here. Start ridiculously small. Make it so easy you can't fail. And then watch as those tiny victories explode into a life you never thought was possible. Fast forward to today, and everything has changed. I lead teams, manage projects, and take action with clear purpose. I wake up with a plan, execute it, and hold myself accountable to results. I'm not perfect, far from it, but here's the difference. I'm consistent. Day in, day out, I show up. And the craziest part, if the person I used to be, the lazy, distracted version of myself, saw me now, they wouldn't even recognize me. That lethargic, aimless version who spent hours scrolling instead of acting. It's like I'm a completely different human being. Here's the second lesson I learned on this journey. Your environment shapes your habits far more than sheer willpower ever will. For years, I blamed myself for being lazy, for lacking discipline, but the truth is, your surroundings either reinforce your growth or reinforce your stagnation. And mine? They were toxic. Social media that stole my attention, people who encouraged procrastination, endless distractions around me. I realized that if I wanted to become a leader, I had to completely rethink my environment. So I did something radical. I cut out everything that didn't serve me. I deleted apps that wasted my time, distanced myself from negative influences, and intentionally sought out people who were ahead of me. People who demanded more of me without saying a word. Their energy became contagious. Their standards became my standards. Slowly but surely, I started to act like a leader even before I felt like one. And here's the key insight. Leadership always starts internally, but it grows externally through the company you keep. You cannot rise above the people, the space, and the energy you immerse yourself in. This wasn't easy. Every step meant confronting uncomfortable truths about myself and my surroundings. Every day meant saying no to the easy, comfortable options and yes to growth. But that discomfort is where transformation happens. Leadership isn't about titles. It's about habits, mindset, and environment. It's about designing a life where you are constantly pushed to be better. Now, when I look back, I don't just see what I've achieved. I see the journey, the small decisions, the daily discipline, the people I allowed into my circle that turned me from someone who barely moved forward into someone who moves with purpose. And that's the lesson for you. If you want to become a leader in your life, start by shaping the world around you to demand more from you. Everything else follows. Now it's your turn. Enough listening, enough thinking about change. The truth is, transformation doesn't happen in theory. It happens in action. And here's the good news. It doesn't have to be complicated. You don't need a perfect plan, a fancy program, or endless motivation. You just need a framework, a set of small, consistent actions you can take starting right now. Here's a simple framework I want you to try today. Step 1, pick one micro habit and commit for 30 days. Not 10 habits, not a complete life overhaul. Just one small, tangible action. It could be waking up 30 minutes earlier, doing 15 push-ups, journaling every morning, or reading 5 pages of a book. The key is consistency. One action repeated every day. It might feel tiny, even silly at first, but here's the secret. Micro habits compound. They stack, they build momentum, and they quietly transform your life. Step 2, track your progress. Visibility fuels accountability. Don't just hope you'll remember or somehow magically stay disciplined. Write it down. Use a habit tracker, a journal, or even a sticky note on your mirror. Every checkmark is a small win. Every small win reminds your brain that you can follow through, and that's where real change starts. Step 3, remove one major distraction from your life. We live in a world full of noise, phones, social media, endless notifications, toxic influences. They steal your time, your focus, and your energy. Identify the biggest distraction that's holding you back and cut it out. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. The space you create in your environment is the space you create in your mind. Step 4, surround yourself with someone who's slightly ahead of you. Growth isn't just about what you do. It's about who you let influence you. Find someone whose energy, habits, and mindset inspire you to step up. Let their example pull you forward. And don't overthink it. This doesn't have to be a mentor. It could be a friend, a colleague, or even a community online that challenges you to do better. Do this, and here's what you'll notice: a shift. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. You'll feel a spark of momentum, a glimpse of what your life can become when you stop waiting for motivation and start leaning into discipline. Every small action you take today is a vote for the person you're becoming. The lazy, distracted version of you is fading. A disciplined, purpose-driven version is rising. And that version, that's a leader. So, what's your micro habit going to be? What distraction will you cut? Who will you let inspire you? Start now. The rest will follow. Going from a lazy dreamer to a disciplined leader isn't about talent. It's about choice. It's about showing up when you don't want to. And if I can do it, so can you. If you made it to the end, it means you take your growth seriously. And you have my respect for that. Remember, knowledge without action means nothing. Do one thing today that moves you toward a stronger version of yourself. If this video brought you value, leave a like and subscribe to Iron Discipline. We don't build motivation here, we build character. I'll see you in the next video.